Hello, Miramar. I am Vice Mayor Yvette Colbourne, and welcome to Commission Corner. Today, we are talking about a vital topic for our community: hurricane preparedness and emergency management. With storm season upon us, it is important that we all know how to protect ourselves, our families, and our neighbors. I am joined by our very own Miramar Fire Rescue Chief, Jermaine McFarland, and Emergency Management Division Chief Tara Wagner, who help keep us safe every day. Today, we'll share key information to help you prepare for a hurricane and stay safe during and after a hurricane. Chief McFarland and Chief Wagner, welcome. Thank you so much for coming out, joining me today, and such an important topic in our community. But before we get started, tell me a little bit about yourself, Chief.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you for having us. My name is Jermaine McFarland. I am the Fire Rescue Chief, the City of Miramar Fire Rescue. I was recently appointed as the Fire Rescue Chief.
And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I've been with the city approximately 26 years, and my overall job duties are managing the department administratively and also operationally to make sure that we are providing the best services to our residents.
Keeping us safe. Thank you. And Chief Wagner, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having us here today. I appreciate it. My name is Tara Wagner. I'm the Division Chief of Emergency Management. I handle all emergency preparedness for our employees and our residents across the city. I've been in the city for 24 years, and I've been in emergency management for 3 years as the Division Chief.
Wonderful. Again, thank you so much for coming. So we have a wealth of experience here, which is wonderful because we want to make sure that our residents are prepared for hurricane. And I know both of you have a lot to talk about when it comes to hurricane preparedness. So tell us, where do we start? Where should families start when it comes to hurricane preparedness? I always say, get everybody in one room, let's sit down and make a plan. What should that plan include?
The Emergency Management Division suggests coming up with a hurricane plan for your home and for your family. We also encourage everyone now, while there's not a hurricane out in the ocean, to buy all of your hurricane supplies when there's not a mad rush to go to the stores.
You want to buy the stuff now. There are no lines.
No lines.
This is a time you can take your time and get the right size equipment for your home and go through your list calmly, right?
Exactly.
Do it now?
Exactly. We suggest doing it now. Organizing your important documents so you can grab them and go quickly in case you do evacuate your home. We encourage everyone to buy non-perishable food, water, toiletries, pet supplies, and possibly, if you can, start stocking up on medications to have in excess in case pharmacies are closed. We have a complete hurricane guide at miramarfl.gov/hurricane, where you can find this essentials kit and our complete hurricane guide and actions to take to prepare your home and your family.
So absolutely. City of Miramar has a list of all of these items that you might need. But everyone knows what exactly they need to be comfortable during a hurricane. So look at those. We suggest that our residents take a look at what we're saying. And if there's anything else that they feel they need, they should definitely add it to it, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Absolutely. So Chief McFarland, what do you think we should do when it comes to, or I should say, what's available for those residents like our most vulnerable in our population? Is there any way that we can get them identified? Well, I know we can get them identified ahead of time. How do we best do that?
Thank you. Important question, Vice Mayor. As you talked about having a plan, you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan for your family. Every family should have a communication plan, and that plan should have the information how you will communicate in the event that you lost the normal means of communications, and also if your family is separated. That communication plan should include people with disabilities, the vulnerable population, and people who have limited mobility. We have on our website at miramarfl.gov/hurricane where you could sign up for folks who have limited mobility and are part of the vulnerable population where they could get the assistance they need in the event we have an approaching storm.
Wonderful. So for those out there who may need some additional assistance when it comes to a hurricane, they should go ahead and sign up. So what happens after you sign up? Does someone reach out to you and make sure ahead of a hurricane that you're okay, that you have what you need? How does that work?
The Vulnerable Population Registry allows each municipality, because it's a county-wide list, so it allows each the departments inside the municipality to have a call-down list. So if we have any emergency messaging we're going to push through or push out in relation to an event or an incident coming about, that's the registry where we would make sure transportation is set up. The county will make sure transportation is set up if people are bedbound or have mobility issues and they can't load onto a city bus, for instance. So those call down lists and messages every year, our social services department make sure that the list is accurate and up to date, and we still have contact with them. The vulnerable populations can register for the Broward County vulnerability list by calling 311 if you're within Broward County, or 954-831-4000 to add your name to the list, or any family members or friends that need to be on the list.
Wonderful. And that's actually with Broward County.
Mm-hmm.
So Broward County will monitor that and make sure that they get the assistance they need preparing for a hurricane just before or during and after as well. They can always check on them. So wonderful. So make sure if you're out there and you need the additional assistance that you register. You want to give us that site again? How do they register? Is there a phone number that someone can call to register?
Yes, you can call 311 if you're within Broward County, or 954-831-4000.
Okay, wonderful. So if you have someone who needs assistance in your family, please make sure to make that call and get them registered for that additional help. You prepare when you sit down with your family and you take care of all these things. Okay, so now you have your personal documents in a Ziploc bag or a waterproof container and all the stuff that you need. Mm-hmm. Now you have to take care of the house as well, right? All right, so there's the tree trimming and all of the stuff that happens. So should they start tree trimming now? Is this a good time?
Definitely, Vice Mayor. Obviously, you want to protect your home, your properties, and you need to start the tree trimming when you could do so. And you also want to clear your gutters. One of the things that we also recommend is that you take pictures before the storm or hurricane event.
Very
and
good
pictures
idea.
after the event. You want to make sure that there are no loose items or articles that could be a projectile when the storm is actually happening. So you want to protect your property, and waiting until a hurricane watch or a hurricane warning is not the time. It creates some anxiety and may put you in an unsafe situation. You want to make sure your shutters are operational, and you want to also get the necessary tools and equipment so you can secure your home.
So you've got to make sure you have your shutters. You know how you're going to get them up. If you need assistance, that you have someone ahead of time so that they can help you with that. Your tree trimmings, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and get it in advance of your regular pickup,
Yes.
so that you can get that taken care of as well. And you won't have to worry about that last minute, like you said.
Exactly.
I guess once your family is ready, your home is ready, then you want to make sure that you touch bases with your neighbors.
Yes.
I know during these types of emergencies, sometimes your family members are not close by. It's really your neighbors that you depend
Yes.
on. Mm-hmm. So I think it's such a good idea to make sure that you make that contact with your neighbors ahead of time. Maybe just have that discussion. let your neighbors know if you're going to be there by yourself or if you're not going to be there so that they can look out for the property. What are some of the things that you should do when it comes to your neighbors?
We encourage to have a relationship with your neighbors and make sure, especially if they have challenging, physical abilities or mental abilities or they're vulnerable, that you can help them, around their house with their patio furniture, moving things in, grills and such. Because, if those things move around in a storm, they will end up in your yard.
Yes.
And by helping them, you're helping yourself also. That's one thing as it relates to debris and outside environment. As far as personal safety, if you have an elderly neighbor and they sometimes they are very anxious about storms, and they might need to come into your home, and it will be a good idea to consider sheltering with them, or at least being able to check on them as after the storm passes to see how they're doing.
Well, I'm so glad that you mentioned shelter, because I know in some cases it's better to evacuate rather than, even though your house is prepared, you may want to lock up, and in some instances you have to evacuate. So tell me about the shelters in Broward County and the City of Miramar. Where are they located, so that our residents can get that information?
Okay. We have 8 shelters in our city. 2 of them are primary shelters and 2 of them are pet shelters. The same 2 are pet shelters and primary shelters. We have the most shelters as a municipality across the county. And most of them are obviously located within schools, middle schools, elementary schools, and high schools, since schools will be out of session during an event.
Very good. And of course, if you have to evacuate, you're going to a shelter. There are things that you should be taking with you. The shelter does not necessarily have everything that you will need. So all the stuff that you have prepared, you may need at least a grab bag, right? So
Yes.
How should you prepare if you have to evacuate?
Definitely. Number one, you want non-perishable food, water. You want your medications. And in the state of Florida, if the governor declares a state of emergency, you could actually have early refill of your prescriptions.
Very good to know.
You want to make sure you have your cell phone because you need to communicate. And you also want to make sure you have a charger, a battery charger.
Maybe a couple of extra chargers,
Exactly.
battery chargers for
that you communicate. And if you have pets, you have to make sure that they're part of that plan for you. You want to have pet
They're
food.
part of the family.
Exactly. And you want to make accommodations also for your pets.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely wonderful. That's really good information. So hopefully we will not have a hurricane this year, and we won't have to worry about any of these things going through the situation. But we still have to worry about getting prepared. We still have to get prepared for a storm. And during a storm, there are some safety tips that you would like to offer to our residents. Can you share that with us?
Yes. And it all starts, the key word, preparedness. You have to be prepared. You have to know your risk, know your zones that you live in, if you live in an evacuation zone, flood zone, and also know your plan. You have to know your plan.
Know your plan.
And during the storm, you have to make sure you're at a safe location. You want to bunker down, you want to shelter in place, because sometimes we are unable to respond depending on what's going on, especially at the peak of the storm or the hurricane.
Chief, that's very important for us to remind our residents, because we rely on you so much throughout when there is no storm, and we think that we can just call and you will be there. But that's not always the case during a storm. You also have to hunker down.
Exactly, because we have to consider the safety of the first responders. But rest assured, as the situation dictates and it's safe to do so, we will respond. So we advise residents only to call 911 in life-threatening situations. Stay safe, make sure you have the necessary equipment you need, and also follow the City of Miramar on social media. Stay connected. You have to be staying connected. You have to be informed. You want to know what's going on. You could register at Alert Miramar. You could also just any search engine type in Miramar Emergency Management, and that will give you all the information you need. So stay connected to the social media sites, stay connected to trusted sources like the Hurricane National Center, and also make sure that you are in connection with all the information you need, because Alert Miramar will disseminate the information that you need to know and the information that's currently pending and what the intentions as far as emergency management is.
Very good. So listen to the news, your social media, and stay informed and stay in.
Yes.
Whether whether it's at home, a neighbor, a friend, in a shelter, but definitely stay in a protected environment.
Yes.
And don't try to go out during a storm.
No, do not.
You know, you have kids and you want to keep things going. If you don't have electricity during the day, some board games may be nice.
Exactly.
You know, things to keep the kids active indoors and calm as well, so that they wouldn't have any anxieties about what's happening,
Exactly.
what's around them. So
Keeping them engaged.
keeping them engaged, keep those minds busy. No, absolutely. And of course, after a storm, I know you're going to say that you have to do an assessment. So you don't want residents to go out there before you do. So tell us a little bit about that assessment that happens after a storm.
Exactly. Unfortunately, injuries and fatalities usually happens after the storm.
Not a result of the storm,
Exactly.
but after a storm,
After the storm.
and that's because folks leave their house too soon.
Safety still continues after the storm. People tend to want to go outside because they've been bunkered down so long,
Yeah.
you know. But one of the first things that we do is conduct a search and rescue if the need arises. Also, we conduct a damage assessment, or what we call a rapid impact assessment. And of course, make sure that the roads are clear, that we could respond, you know, to a resident in the event there is an emergency, in the event if there are emergencies. And also, what we also do, we monitor for flooding, we monitor for down power lines, and we also monitor for gas leaks. And that's very important, like what you said, Vice Mayor, about leaving your house, because there may be down power lines in the water, and we don't want someone to be electrocuted.
Absolutely. So safety first.
Safety first.
Safety first, and that's during preparations, during a hurricane, and after a hurricane, you want to be safe. So Chief, thank you so much for being here. Sincerely appreciate you taking the time. Do you have any last minute comments?
Definitely. Preparedness. Preparedness is the key. We want to make sure that we stay informed, we stay connected, that we have a plan, and that we have a supply kit, and also that we protect our properties. Hurricane season is not the time to be uncertain. We want to make sure that we are ready, and only we can control that. We can't predict when there is going to be an impactful storm, but what we can control is how ready we are.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that message. And Chief Wagner, any last minute comments?
I'd like to encourage everyone to sign up for Alert Miramar. The website again is miramarfl.gov/hurricane. There you're going to get Miramar specific weather advisories and emergency actions. So that it will help, kind of disseminate between what you're getting through the news media and the county. It'll be more Miramar specific coming from the Emergency Management Division.
Thank you so much. And I will echo that as well. Alert Miramar is so important. Alert Miramar is where you will receive text messages from our emergency management letting you know what's going on, things that are specific to the city of Miramar. We have a system where you can just go online and sign up. So please visit miramar.gov and sign up for Alert Miramar.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I know there's so much more that you can share with us. There's so much more we can continue to talk about hurricane preparedness. But right now I'm going to say, just go out and get ready. You know, our residents know what they need to get ready. And if they don't know, we have everything on the website. They can check the website, check the news when that time comes, and they're giving hurricane information so that you can track it as well. But most importantly, be safe, right?
Be safe.
It's safety first.
Safety.
Safety
Thank
first.
you so much for coming by today and having this conversation with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
And I know our residents would certainly benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Until next Commission Corner, stay well, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay empowered. Thank you for watching.